Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. It is your girl SJ. Welcome to Music, Stories, and Life. On this channel, as I always say, this is just my channel about music and my stories and some parts of my personal life as it relates to the different songs that I might mention. So, yeah, I love this channel. It is very therapeutic for me. I do actually have an interesting um song that I want to talk about that is super old. If you notice, I mean, I only have, well, this will be my fourth video that I'm going to upload. I was just thinking, like, all the songs that I mentioned on here are really old. Um, that is where most of my early memories of music come from, and my memories and um, for lack of a better word, the emotion, or I will say, how I viewed love in a sense when it comes to um, some of these songs, and just the memory that I have surrounding this particular song and how it kind of molded me versus also what I experienced growing up, and how it kind of distorted a little bit maybe of what I thought love was. Or and growing up into my teenage years, just having these different memories of songs and just different situations and music that kind of when I got older, when I not that I understood as a teenager what love was, but then I kind of figure out what I didn't want, versus what I did want, and the songs that captured those kind of moments, if that makes any sense. So anyway, the first song that I want to talk about first, though, I kind of just want to go over the details, like super random. I use. Tell me if y'all use. I know most of the girls out here like use foundation, but I love me a good BB cream because it's not heavy. It's mattifying. It kind of blurs the skin out. It's got some stuff in here. I don't know, for like sunscreen and stuff like that. But I like this, and I got the color Deep. This is L'Oreal. Like, do y'all use this? I don't know. And then I like a little mascara. I got a little bit on today. I don't know if y'all can tell, but anyway. And then I use a little lip gloss. But my like favorite um product that I use, product line, is Pixie. Um, I y'all, I swear by this stuff. Like, I use the facial cream. They have like a it's not like a scrub, so to speak, but it's like, so they have like the cleanser, the facial creamer that's like a facial cleanser that is cream based, and then they have like a cleansing um facial cleanser that's like clear, and it's more not abrasive because it's not scrubby like, but it gives more of a deep clean. And then they have like this rose cream that I use, and then I use a rose cream moisturizer, and then I'll use they have like this serum, a rose serum, and then they have like this hydrating mist. Like, I use all of their glow mist hydrating. This is really good for the wintertime because I get really dry skin. And then they have one with tea tree in it that is really good for the summer, because in the summertime I get really oily. So I'll use that, and it kind of like mattifies and absorbs the oil. I don't know. And it's for mature skin. Like, when I was reading this, it's for mature skin, and this this is good stuff. But anyway, okay. So yeah, I do stuff like that. I am Gotta fix my camera. I am a random rant person, so I'll do that from time to time. Yeah, so I got me a little haircut too. Um, it's growing out a little bit, if you can see. Oh yeah, and so then I went to go get my nails done again, because the last video I posted, I had got my nails done, but then like I had got it done like on a Friday, and then Sunday I had to go back because they were like chipping, and then throughout the rest of the week they were all like chipping. So I had to go back to the nail place. This is not a place that I normally go to get my nails done, because I'm kind of a nail whore. I kind of go everywhere. Um, I don't know. It's I don't know why I do that, but years ago when I first started getting my nails done, I had found me a really good nail tech, and it was a guy. He was older, obviously. He was not obviously, but anyway, he was older, and he took really good care of my nails. I have yet, since I have moved out to the DMV area, found someone that I love. I found actually, two spots that I go back and forth to, and then there's other ones that I just randomly visit. But this one spot that I randomly went to did not do such a good job. I had to go back for them to basically soak them off and start over. But anyway, so I mean, and I realize it's about this myself. Like I normally, I like to keep them a little bit longer than this. Anything longer, because I do work on a computer and I type a lot, and I just, watch this as like I do stuff with my hands a lot. Not that I'm rough, but I can't function like I normally do with a little bit longer nails. Like I like to get the shape to like the coffin shape. So anything um long, like anything past the shape of a coffin, because you can get a coffin shape relatively short, but when it gets a little longer, like I can't do that because whatever, I just can't function. So anyway, I realized that I need to keep them a little bit longer than this and keep the coffin shape. That way I can still do my daily things. But it's really wild that I had got my nails done on a Friday and then Sunday they were chipping. The tech that I went back to, she said no, she did them really thin, and she did because they were just chipping. It was anyway. So, the story that I want to not story, sorry, the song that I want to talk about today is going to be a super old song, and it is called "There's Nothing Better Than Love." I don't know if y'all know who that is, the name of that song. But anyway, it is a song that was written by Luther Vandross and Gregory Hines. Well, I don't know if Gregory Hines wrote it, but he sung it with Luther Vandross. And this was off the album Give Me the Reason, which the single Nothing Better Than Love came out in 87. So in 87, I was about 5 years old, five and a half, because it came out in February. So I was like five and a half. So yeah, let's get into this song. So how did I even come up with this? I was listening to my music as I do when I'm working, and this song just happened to come on my playlist. And I was like, oh, I remember this song. This song is so endearing to me. Like I really, really love this song. And the duet and um how Luther Vandross and Gregory Hines' voices are a little similar, but they complement each other really, really well. Like listening to the song without the video, they sound very similar. But when you see the video, you obviously know who is singing what. So it's really a really, really gentle song. In my opinion, the lyrics are, once again, they're very simple and loving and kind. And when I first like seen this video, it was on Video Soul with Donnie Simpson, and it just kind of comes on. It looks like they're coming off a concert, maybe I can't really tell. And it's these two men, Luther and Gregory Hines. They come into like on this stage or whatever, and people are leaving, and then they come in, and all of a sudden the song just starts. They take their seats on like these stools or whatever, and it's almost portrayed, or at least what I think what they were trying to come across in the video, at least for me, is like two men having a conversation about the women that they love and how that woman wants to be loved. And I thought that was, now that I'm older and realizing kind of the concept versus when I was younger, nobody's like, nobody's really doing that. So I thought it was very well played, because to have two men sitting there talking about love. It's like a conversation piece. I love it. And I just love the lyrics. But we'll get into that in a little bit later. So like I remember I was reading somewhere, I got some notes here that and they said that it was likely that Luther, added Gregory Hines. And if y'all don't know, he was an RB. Rest in peace to both of these people. That he likely added him onto the song to kind of see how he would go over well, with the audience, because he was known as I believe as an actor and a tap dancer. But he had a really, 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 really um, great voice, and it complemented Luther's voice very well. It was like a really velvety mixture, like from both ends. And Gregory Hines definitely held his own in this song. It was really great. So yeah, I'm like listening, and then I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna do this song, because the first thing when I first heard this song come on, it immediately took me back to the time when I was about maybe 8 or 9 years old. And we stayed in an area, part of Cincinnati, downtown Cincinnati. And my parents, they, let's see, have been married, let's see, it will be almost 40 years, if not 39, maybe 40 years this upcoming December. And they have been through a lot. Um, but I remember like earlier years, your parents are the first example that you see how love, how communication, how relationships are to be, when you have that, when you have a household with mom and dad in it. That is like, the first examples of marriage, when they're married, how you see things are supposed to be, because you don't really have any other examples. So that is like the first exposure that you see of what a marriage is and how to communicate, whether it's done, greatly or poor or in dysfunction, that is what you see, and that is what you sometimes pick up on, and a lot of times carry with you into your other relationships. So my dad would I wonder why, whatever. So my dad would sing parts of this song, and he would sing this song, and um it was really confusing to me a little bit, because here I am, this little girl, who, I'm hearing this song, and the melody to me sounds it's so beautiful. There's nothing better than love. What in the world could you have? Like, it's so beautiful, right? And it's like a warm hug. I mean, Luther Vandross, it just melts over. Like, it is such a beautiful song. But my dad was singing, he was singing this one part of the song. She be in love just 'cause she wanna be. Um, and it was just like, okay, so in this particular time, I have seen my parents argue a lot, really bad, really, really loud. I've seen it. Um, and I knew too that my mom, she was really like, she loved my dad. She was so crazy about him. Like, I remember, stories, and my dad used to always say, "Oh, your mom was so crazy about me," da, 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 whatever. And my mom was like, "Oh, whatever." But I knew that she was like crazy about my dad. And, They stuck it out. They've had their ups and downs that unfortunately I seen, and uh, it is what it is. But so he was singing this part, and that in my mind, because sometimes I didn't always see my dad in the best light. So, when he would, argue and, rage and yell at my mom, it was very intense moments. Um, but it was like he liked this song, and for what the song was trying to um, present, as much as he sung that song, like I didn't see that from him, if that makes sense. And especially with him singing that particular line of the song, it made me think that love means you stay in dysfunction, even though that's not what the song was talking about. My dad would sing this song a lot because it would come on a lot. And so I'm thinking like, well, maybe this song is inspiring him to be great, to try to be a better person. But it didn't work that way. And then my mom would end up staying. So as a young girl listening to this song about 8 or 9 years old, this song at the time meant to me that you stayed in dysfunction. She be in love because she wanna be. She be in love just because she wanna be. It's so messed up because I totally know that that's not really what the song means, but that's what it meant to me because she wanted to be in love. She wanted him to love her, um, and they continue to have their ups and downs, and just it was never quite you know the best example for us. And growing up, when I got into like my relationships, I carried some of that dysfunction with me. I didn't know how to effectively, I'm still kind of working on that. I'm a lot better now. Like I didn't know how to effectively communicate my feelings. When I would see my parents argue, I would see my dad, and this is no dig at my parents. Like they are my parents. They have done the best job that they could, and I love them to death. We all have our flaws, but they have done the best they could. Um, so when I would see them go at it, like I would see them go at it. So it was like what I learned was not how to speak up for myself, not know how to effectively communicate my feelings because I would see my dad kind of dominate the situation and my mom would just shut down and not really learn to articulate what she was feeling or given an opportunity to. And when she would try to, you can just tell that she just was just so overwhelmed with emotion and couldn't really speak. So I kind of learned that. I just learned that silence was it's over. Like if you just don't say anything, they won't talk, and that's that's not really how it works. Like you have to learn to be able to communicate yourself and give it that space. And because I didn't learn how to communicate, there would be moments when I would just shut down. And there would also be moments when I would just completely lash out because that's what I seen my dad do. So I kind of have like the both ends of it. And in my age, and I listen, it's been a struggle. But kind of going back to the song, that's the first memories that I have of that song. There's nothing better than love. And now that I'm older, I'm like, yo, this song is totally not the dysfunctional song that I made it up to be. But it is such a beautiful song, and nobody's really like talking about love. Like, what is that? I mean, not to say what is it, but like I don't know what it is. But it's just like, listening to the song, listening to the lyrics. Let me pull up these lyrics right quick. Got some stuff here. Um, you know, it starts off like Luther. He's like, I fell asleep late last night, and I dreamed the night and almost half the day away. Like, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's just like this conversation between, like I said earlier, two men, talking about the women in their lives that they love. Um, and how, I don't know, it's just and it's so vulnerable. Like, nowadays our music is very different. This was like in the 80s, and then we like going into like the 90s, there was still like, then we had our groups, we had our Jagged Edge, we had our 112, we had our Drew Hill, we have our Boys to Men, we got our Jodeci, we got our Silk, like we got, what is it, Ideal, we got Rough Ends, like we were coming with the groups, and they were definitely singing them love songs, and it sounded a lot different, and it sounded a little bit more relatable now in this era. But this piece here between Gregory Hines and um, Luther Vandross was a very intimate conversation about love in the way, how it's portrayed, how it's portrayed, and how they're discussing that, no one could make them feel this way. They're saying there's nothing better than love. What in the world could you have been thinking of? How good that must feel to be able to evoke, to be in a relationship with someone, and that's how they make you feel. Yo, because I know, like, when me and my husband got married, like, I would listen. I would listen to these songs. As a matter of fact, when we started dating, like, one of the ways that we would communicate, we would just send each other songs, YouTube videos, or a link to a song. We did that, and that was, I don't even know who started that, but I think I sent him the first one, because when we first met, we were like 15, 16 years old. Um, and the song that was out then was a song off the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack with Changing Faces, Do Little Things. That was, I love that song. And that was the first song I sent to him, because there was little bitty glimpse when we hung out. I literally felt like I would do anything for him. Like, I literally would do anything for him. And I was like 15, 16 years old. And that feeling like never left. Pause that. I'm going to go back to what I was talking about. So anyway, like, so this conversation between two men, to be in a space or in a relationship that a woman, or, well, this is from a male's perspective. So for them to be in their feelings this way, that a woman has really made them feel this much love. Well, then I'm also thinking about, well, um, she makes him feel this way because he also makes her feel away. That's why she be in love, because she wants to be. Like, I want to be in love with you because you are giving me all the feels. You are treating me kind. You are letting me be myself. You are talking to me kind. You are letting me be soft. Like, you're letting me cry. You are allowing me the space to be loved. Um, she want to be loved. Who doesn't want that? It's such a beautiful song. And then there's another part. You don't have to guess what's going on inside my head. So then there's the communication piece. You know, it's a really unsafe thing, so to speak. Not so to speak. It is a really unsettling thing to be in a relationship and your partner not know what's going on with your heart. Your partner not know what's going on inside of your head. So to be able to be in a relationship where you can freely discuss feelings openly, and not be judged, and know that sometimes our feelings and our thoughts are just really a product of our environment, and our imperfect thoughts. Like nobody wants to be held accountable for that, and sometimes the things, because if you are, I'm never, if you are far removed from the environment you grew up in, you know to the point, I'm gonna say where it no longer affects you, but sometimes the things that you're going through now affects you far more than the past, if that makes sense. um, because there comes a place where you can no longer, this might not go over well, because I still do this and I still try to separate, because as an adult, we know kind of what's right and wrong, and how learn, and we know the right and wrong things to do. And it's kind of sometimes unfair to blame like our childhood. I don't want to say that to be insensitive, but sometimes that can't always be the excuse, because sometimes we know better. And then sometimes, when we've been with our partner so long, that those situations are now our triggers, and it might just be compounded from past growing up to now and into the future. So I'm learning, listening to this song and listening to the lyrics, like um, communication. Like I don't ever want to wonder what is going on inside of my partner's head, and I don't want them to ever wonder what's going on inside of my head. But I always want it to be communication, but also it has to be room for that. Like I have to give my partner room to communicate, and he also has to allow me room to communicate, which is something I did not see growing up. So I learned from that. And one thing that I have said to myself, as I started to realize that I have a lot of my dad in me, where there can be moments of rage, that it's like a teeter totter. Like I have a lot of my dad in me, and I have a lot of my mom in me. Depending on the situation, I could blow up or I could shut down. And I am struggling to like, I recognize that, and I am trying to deal with that. And I also, because I recognize that I can't really blame my parents any longer, because I know now what the issue is. It took me a while to get there. It took me a long while. And then once I realized it, I was like, man, I would much rather have the quietness of my mom, the mildness of my mom, than the rage of my dad. Um, so it has taken me a while to get there. But I'm listening, listening to that song, and all these memories come up. And then I started thinking about my husband. I was like, this is it's just a lovely, 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 lovely song, especially, as you get older, just being in love with someone, having them, or that you make them feel that way and they make you feel that way, being in love because you want to be. She wants to be loved. There is nothing better than love. What could you have been thinking of? It's a beautiful song, man. So I just want to talk about that. This is what I do. You'll probably get you know, these connected but disconnected stories from me. And this is, again, like I say, this is just how I view music as a young child, and my love for it, and how I internalize certain situations, and how songs when I was young, how I interpret them to be versus when I got older. So yeah, yeah, that is just my little spin on, my little take on "There's Nothing Better Than Love" by Gregory Hines and the Vandross. So yeah, let me know what y'all want me to talk about. I got one subscriber on here, y'all. Like I was so thrilled. I was so thrilled, and I can't even think of the person, but it's a it's a girl who does videos, like music videos. She's an artist, and I went to check. I was like, she's subscribed to my channel. How? But anyway, I was so excited. So I looked her up, went to follow her, like, let's just support each other in whatever it is we want to do, guys. But anyway, I hope you have a good day. I will be back with another video.